Hello fine people of the internet. Today, as you probably read, I'm going to be covering the critically acclaimed Mario Bros. 1 and its oddball brother, Mario 2.
As is tradition, we'll be starting with the game lacking any preceding numbers or subtitles, which tends to be the first in the series. I think. Mario is a plumber who inexplicably finds himself saving mushroom people from turtles and smaller mushrooms. You can tell they're bad guys because their eyebrows are pointy enough to skin an elephant.
As Mario's past is clouded in mystery, we don't know how a gorilla abuser became the princess's go-to hero, but here he stands, ready to punch some bricks and stand on some turtles.
The story of Mario is that there is no story. A lot of things change over the years, so it's refreshing to see the folks at Nintendo stuck to this approach. That being said, if your hankering for a story still needs to be quenched, you can always make your way down to the instruction manual. Or don't spend your precious coin on some tatty paper from the 80s and find a PDF online. Either way, you'll have the deepest Mario lore you were looking for. The story goes as thus. Bowser gets a magic thing and breaks all the toads.
Yeah, he makes them individual bricks and bunches them together. Mario isn't shattering the bodies of a bunch of toads. Your Mario's mental theories can wait.
He also stole Princess Toadstool because he's lonely and his Roblox girlfriend's not been online for 12.5 years. This inciting incident leads our man Mario on a quest across 8 worlds that totally don't loop. Shiggy would never.
Now the game's old, so other than gameplay there's not a lot to it. And, you know, for someone with the attention span of a squirrel, that's not that bad. You thought I was going to do the gag again, but I never recycle jokes. It says so on my script.
Thankfully, these old Mario games hold up pretty well. Mario controls very fluidly, his jumps are perfect and his movement speed sublime. It's a classic example of a game's controls being easy to learn, difficult to master. This is aided by the level design, which is some of the best gaming from this time has to offer. Each level in a world flows with a natural difficulty progression, each time culminating in the world's level 4. These are all one of Bowser's numerous castles.
Seriously, he's got so goddamn many. Like, what? Is real estate insanely cheap in the Mushroom Kingdom, or is he got some money laundering schemes in the background there, Wedgie? Either way, Peach would see a lot of value in allying with such a wealthy individual, you know. Cha-ching.
Most worlds follow a linear formula. Overworld stage that's accessed through a warp pipe. Sky World. And one of them they're Bowser's castles. The last of Bowser's castles are unfortunately copy-pasted from the first 4. These stages are either going to put your platforming chops to the test or present an arbitrary puzzle to hinder our protagonist.
Many cultures have an interpretation of hell, and it's always the Super Mario Bros. Castle puzzles. There's no audio cue to tell you when you're doing something wrong, so you're a couple pixels off. Nap bro, use wrong. That's time, mate.
At the end of each world you combat the Great Bowser. Or well, at least at the end of the last castle, the others were shadow clones. Or YouTube clone channels, but I wouldn't know anything about that. Once you slay the big bad Bowser, you find a toad who informs you that Peach is elsewhere, making this booty call even longer than poor Mario expected. It's not even worth it. If you fought the same boss more than 4 times in a row, would you continue or just assume this was a ploy and go home? The repetitive boss fights are just another weak point in this game that's improved later on in the series.
Now the last point I'd like to talk about is difficulty. Now, if you're a seasoned platformer, such as myself, you won't have any trouble beating the game in a single continue.
However, if you're not well versed in the platformers, I can see you struggling. The design is certainly archaic. This doesn't make it bad, but difficulty for the sake of padding a short game, even if it was to justify the prices of the time, can be considered cheap by many. I'm not afraid to admit that I struggled with this game because I'm not used to having to try.
Jesus, Nintendo, I'm not gonna try!
Overall, this game holds up rather well for something over twice my age. While the other installments are certainly better, I feel it holds a special place in the Gaming Hall of Fame for a reason. And really, what's the point of a sequel if it can't improve on the previous game's mechanics?
For the less educated of you in the audience, that's what we in the business like to call foreshadowing.
After the first Mario game took the world by storm, Nintendo got a sequel made pretty darn fast. This was Super Mario Bros. 2. Outstanding name, I know. This Famicom game didn't come to the West until Super Mario All-Stars. You see, Super Mario The Lost Levels was considered too hard for Western gamers, so Nintendo decided to give the West a reskinned Doki Doki Panic and call that Super Mario Bros. 2.
So this video would be me reviewing both Mario 1 and The Lost Levels, but I can't beat The Lost Levels, and you know what? I'm not ashamed to admit that. But one day I'll get my white whale. My Moby Dick.
So Super Mario Bros. 2, or Doki Doki Panic, or Super Mario USA if you live in Japan, I guess. Whatever it's called, you can't deny.
This has story!
Mario has a dream.
Yeah, call it a plot twist, but the game was still on the NES. Couldn't fit a lot on that card. So everything just takes place in Mario's head, and whammo, you got a story. But the interesting thing is how Wart appears in Link's Awakening, which means either the Windfish or A Link to the Past Link know who Mario is and he was close enough with them to share his weird dream, or Mario is A Link to the Past Link or the Windfish. That's the spicy one. Or, if you really want to go for the triple whammy, Wart is some sort of ever-present dream demon, and we'll be seeing him in Mario Odyssey sequel. I'm not okay with any of those.
So Wart has cursed the land of Subcon. I see what you did there, Wedgie. And the natives decide to ask Mario, Luigi, Peach, and a random mushroom to help them. Now I'm not really sure what this curse entails, but it made the creatures walk right to left, so it must be very darn serious. So since the first game, Mario's apparently lost weight, since he can no longer stomp on enemies. Instead, to off any delinquents, Mario must hoist them above his cranium and launch them into fellow sinners to achieve a 2-for-1 deal on death.
Of course, any object can be thrown, but what kind of punk is going to die to a vegetable?
For this outing, Mario & Co only have 2 hearts by default, but can gain more by violating the Shadow Realm and stealing its local fungi. Upon losing all but one of these hearts, the player will shrink, and you can't grow again unless you get more heart. There's no Super Mushroom. In fact, the only returning power-up is the Star, which you get by eating cherries. Despite not originally being a Mario game, some series staples were added in this instalment. Power Blocks are screen nukes that allow for quick and easy destruction of any adversaries, and for the first time ever, Koopa shells can be thrown instead of only kicked, allowing for remote attacks.
I'm making this sound a lot more strategic than it is. Trust me, it isn't. Like, there's no Fire Flower in the game, so a lot of strategy is actually lost. And, you know, anything is ammo this time, so free kills.
Now this game might be a tiny little bit a lot harder than the first game. Not Lost Levels hard, don't be ridiculous, but hard nonetheless. In fact, when I was scripting this, I was only up to World 3. Now this is mostly a lack of patience on my part, but sometimes I feel like I'm struggling for control of the characters. Oftentimes I just fail to realise how much influence you lack over jumps you've committed to already. Now, this might go as I play, but only time will tell.
Now that's out of the way, we can talk about everyone's favourite body pillow, Luigi.
So Mario is your all-round character. His jump height and weight are all average, and he doesn't have a gimmick to his name. His handsomer brother Luigi has a higher jump and a little more ground speed, likely due to the fact that he's lighter. This makes his jumps real floaty, like a duck. He also slip slides around like he's glued banana peels to the soles of his feet. Princess Peachstool has the lowest ground speed, but boy can she jump. Well, she can't jump as high as Luigi, but she can defy gravity for a short time, floating along like some sort of bird. This makes her easy mode so she can shove it.
You see, I like my games like I like my rocks. Igneous.
This leaves my man Toad. I can relate to Toad. He can't jump great. That's relatable. He's the underdog. That's relatable. He's blue. That's relatable. He can run speedy. Not relatable. 0 out of 10 Nintendo. You have failed to accurately represent gamers and your reputation will forever be tarnished. In conclusion, all these characters suck. You should go play the Carrot Bros ROM hack instead.
Take everything I say about Mario 2 with a grain of salt, because I can't beat that either.
I just feel the amount of times I've had to struggle with the controls has led me to unfairly judging the game. I do like it. It's awfully charming, but I really can't bring myself to attempt the same Birdo for the 56th time.
Overall, I give Mario Bros. 2 a 10 out of 10. It's a masterpiece.
And that's all I have to say about the original Mario games. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to like it and all the other guff people normally ask for. Now I was going to cover Mario 3 next, but now I have other plans. See you next time. Bye bye!